Hello, I'm Dr. Carol Talbot, the creator and founder of the Possibility Hub, taking you beyond the boundaries of who you believe yourself to be and opening to new possibilities. In this episode, my guest bridges the worlds of neuroscience, technology, and conscious transformation. Mike Fuhrmann's mission took a deeply personal turn, and one that led him to reimagine what truly matters: inner connection, brain health, and the science of self-renewal. Now, Mike is helping people upgrade their minds and lives through cutting-edge technology like NeuroVizr, a wearable device using light and sound frequencies to support neuroplasticity, deep relaxation, and cognitive clarity. So in this episode, we explore how your brain is not just a control center, it's also a gateway to healing, awakening, and possibility. Hello, Mike. How are you? Hope you had a good weekend, and welcome to the Possibility Hub.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for having me. And yes, the weekend, it was the first summer weekend here in Europe. It was over 30 degrees. So something which is for you probably normal or actually winter. But it was really the first real summer weekend. So it was beautiful.
There's a reason I live in the Middle East and with the warmer weather. Anyway, we're here to talk about things energy, frequency, neuroplasticity, neuroscience. And I'm thinking of, when you go round to see people, they usually have one cupboard, which is absolutely stacked full of supplements. And, every day they can be taking 20 to 30 different types of supplements, powders, potions, smoothies, whatever. And based on my thesis, I know that a lot of the supplements don't merge well together, but a lot of them are not proven. You can just flush them down the toilet. The fact, though, is that we are energy, we are frequency. And so there are some fantastic frequency and energy devices. And that's what we're here to talk about, which is the beautiful NeuroVizr. I've just got the head part here, but this clips in very easily, like this, which I've been lucky enough to borrow one for a couple of days and trial out. So before we go deeper into my experiences, tell us a little about the NeuroVizr, what it is, what it does, how it works.
Okay, yeah, it's my pleasure. So the NeuroVizr is a light and sound brain stimulation device. So as you said, we are all frequencies, and it plays with frequencies. So you have different light frequencies that will hit your frontal cortex, visual cortex, or pineal gland, because you use that when you have your eyes closed. And you have then also sound frequencies, which you listen to via headphones. If you combine those two, you have a fantastic way to actually get very fast connected with yourself and be not distracted anymore from the outside world. Give your brain the peace that it sometimes needs to rewire and to look inside instead of outside. And so this is what we're usually doing. So you have with the NeuroVizr, it's that device, of course, this is the piece of hardware, but then also it is connected to an app which has over 150 different sessions on there. So stuff that help you to improve your sleep, stuff that help you to meditate. So for people who say, I would like to meditate, but I can't. So those kind of people can really get into a theta state and feel how meditation would feel like without having all those, let's say, how should I say?
Busy mind syndrome.
Exactly.
Right? A lot of people think that when you meditate that you just have to sit still and your mind goes blank.
Exactly.
And so many people today, and particularly, business leaders as well, when they've had a stressful day, it's challenging to switch off, and then they get frustrated because they have this busy mind syndrome. So with the sound and the light, it very swiftly can put you into an altered state, which has tremendous benefits for you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, of course.
Yeah. And you can choose. So, I mean, you have so many programs that you can just follow, let's say, the normal routines or the easy customer friendly things like, okay, release stress, sleep better, enhance your creativity, or maybe improve your level of focus and attention span. So this is very easy for the customer to understand. But also, if you dive deeper into brain waves, you can combine those sessions with going on brain entrainment exercises where you can really stimulate specific frequencies. So if you are a bad sleeper, you obviously don't have enough REM phase in your sleep, right? So you might have, while normal people probably are 70, 80 minutes in a REM sleep phase during the night, you might be only 15 minutes. So you could actually stimulate that by just putting yourself on a 15 minutes REM session. And that's, I think, where a lot of fascination for me comes from, because you can really start training your brain. So in neuroscience, it's called brain signal variability, and that is that a possibility of the brain to switch between different states in a very fluent way. But if we look at ourselves as if we would say, okay, our brain is a 20-store level building, and there's an elevator and there's a staircase. And people who use the staircase, they need a little bit longer to get in all those different, let's say, frequencies. So people who meditate, they walk a very long staircase up until they were able to really go into those kind of states. And with the NeuroVizr, you have an elevator, because most of the time, people are stuck between a couple of floors. So you have those grounded floors, but then you have also things that explore yourself, that go into envisioning things, dreamscaping, lucid dreaming, all those kind of things that you would like to explore, but you're not able to go into those states because your elevator is stuck. And it might be stuck based on the way how you live your life, the stress that you have from work, the way how your childhood trauma infects you, so that you have your belief system, which is just, okay, this only the only thing that is accessible. And so with the NeuroVizr, you have a very, let's say, risk-free, totally from you controlled opportunity to let go and explore different levels of your mind.
Now, I'm interested in what drew you to NeuroVizr and your background, because as I shared with you earlier, I'm familiar with light and sound machines. There's the Lucia light machine, which you can use for groups. Then I also have something called an Enkidu, which I can clip on, lie under. There's a few wires and things. This, of course, is extremely easy. It's just, onto your head, headphones, the app on your phone or your smart device, and you're there with no sort of wires to plug in. But what drew you to start exploring light and sound device machines?
It was a very personal journey. So, for instance, 8 years ago, when I started my journey, my wife had a very severe diagnosis. She got a cancer diagnosis, stage 4 lung cancer, and doctors gave her 3 to 6 months to live. And so I was exploring everything. I was looking into, okay, how can you help? What can you do? Because when the doctors told us, okay, yeah, we can't actually do something, we can just try to extend her life with a little bit of chemo, but there is not much to do anymore. Then you open up for other things. So I'm actually really grateful for that message, because otherwise I wouldn't have looked for own opportunities. And this is when I read the first time about plant medicine. And then my wife became my Guinea pig, because I worked at that time in the financial service industry, high stressed environment, being a C-level of an insurance company. So I was responsible for marketing and communications, their CMO. And I felt emptiness inside of me, and I also was not happy with the relationship that we had and all those kind of things. So the typical when all that stuff comes in, where so many people suffer from. And then my wife had that disease and the diagnosis, and she healed herself with plant medicine within 5 weeks, and all of a sudden she was tumor free. And I couldn't believe that. So I was already on plan B mode. I need what to do when she will be dead in a couple of months, and how do I raise the kids? And that end, I actually started then to explore those kind of more spiritual, holistic treatments by myself, and this changed my life. So I had a chance to spend a week with Dr. Gabor Mate on a plant medicine retreat, and we had all those kind of deep conversations, and also I had those deep wisdom and breaking up my own, let's say, trauma and facing or confronting some things that triggered me. That after that, yeah, our whole life changed. So as a family, I changed my job because I wanted to do things that go more into that direction. I was always very interested in neuroscience because even before I started that insurance company, I was CMO of a neuroscience company where we helped with robotics, paraplegic people to learn to walk again. So I knew what the brain could do, but I never related it to, let's say, I thought, okay, I'm healthy, so it has nothing to do with me. And this whole journey actually helped us to reflect and to be. And now, yeah, my wife is still alive. She stopped medication totally. She just did it on her own and listened to her body and to her mind. And yeah, and then I quit my job as well because this whole cancer. I mean, she wrote a book which is called My Best Friend Cancer, and we got a publisher. We have it in English and in German and in Indonesian. She's from Indonesia originally, but that whole thing was a whole transformation of our family and the way how we live together. And when you once are in that, you can't go back anymore. So I wouldn't fit into the insurance board. I looked at my colleagues there and I thought, you guys are so distracted. You're my clients. So then I stepped out of that world and I became a coach, hypnotherapist, and did some more education in that area. And all of a sudden, the NeuroVizr found me, the technology. I was open for that. I saw one of the first fair trade show experiences, and I bought a device. And then I just showed it to friends and to my clients, and everybody wanted to have that. So I asked them, hey, how does it look like? Can I help you to bring that device to the market? Because now you tested it yourself. It's hard to describe. You can't describe it. You need to experience it. It's an experimental product. It's nothing that you can sell with a Facebook ad.
Yes, which is why I said, let's have this conversation. And then before the conversation, I said, how can I get hold of one? Because it's important to, as you say, have the experience. What I love about your, story and how it came into your life and becoming more interested in frequency, sound, and light medicine, rather than taking more pills and potions and going more the natural route, is I know over the years, with some of the work that I do and some of the clients I've had the privilege to work with, they never would have explored certain things that I offer had it not been for chaos or crisis in their life, which can be physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. But sometimes we need to be shaken, and that allows us the beautiful gift of exploring other possibilities rather than often the doom and gloom message we get through the allopathic community and path. So I love the fact that it also shook your world in a way that allowed you to start exploring different things, and that again, you already knew the power of the mind and brain science and seeing people rehabilitated through, brain neuroscience, and now helping people in many different ways with the NeuroVizr, which is very simply sound and light technology, but so easy and simple to use. So, when people come back stressed or have an issue, maybe you'll put on your headphones and listen to music. It's just taking it further. Why listen to just music when you can listen to specific sounds with the light, and it's that easy just to pop on your head with your headphones. Key in what you want. And what I also enjoyed from experiencing and trialing it, yeah, nice image up on the screen there of how it works, is you can sit, you can lie down. There were programs that are 5 minutes. There were programs that were 11 minutes. You can create your own playlist. So if you want a whole hour, you can create your own playlist. Exactly. And the other thing I'd say is, with some of the programs that I tried, was you were talking about plant medicine.
What did you try? I'm so curious.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of them all. I did a few shorter ones and then a longer one. Obviously, I go for the ones that are more into gamma or something like that, rather than just beta or alpha. But there's also creativity programs. There's Brain Gym. There's like a 21-day program or one you do every day for a month to really develop those, to develop neuroplasticity in the brain entrainment and start doing some rewiring inside. But when you were talking about plant medicine, it reminded me many, many years ago of some of my journeys. And of course, some of those journeys are fairly psychedelic in terms of what you see, colors and things. And so I found that some of the programs I used, kind of like, even though you have your eyes closed, you're taken into different realms. And I'm, into the multidimensional realm, a whole new playground. And it makes you aware that we are energy, and that sound and light is like an on-off switch, flickering at different frequencies, oscillating on, off, on, off. It's a flashline sequence. And so it takes you into such extraordinary places. The other thing from my own experiences over the last couple of days is I had a few other people that I said, oh, do you want to give this a go? And with one of my friends, I think it was just in a 20-minute session. I think it was the transcendent experience.
Transcendental meditation.
Yes, and several times I heard him, because he was off really quite deep. Several times I heard him go, oh, it's like, and I was wondering, what was he seeing? What was going on? And I'd look over and see if the lights were flashing. That there's such a different array of programs. I like the creativity one as well. I'm just finishing off an extra book, so going through the 4th draft, I thought, wouldn't it be good to do the one or two of the creativity programs, just to, as I'm going through the 4th draft, to sort of open up those pathways.
I have a Swiss Olympic athlete who is using especially the creativity dreamscape exercise for visualization, because he's a snowboard athlete and he practices his jumps. Usually he was doing the jumps only by alpha sound frequencies to visualize, because when he do those jumps, they need to train that for, let's say, 2-3 months only in their head to make those movements in a split of a second. So now he does that envisioning training with a NeuroVizr, because it goes faster for him to integrate and manifest the jump that he needs to do. So it's totally interesting also what you're saying, how you can differently do that, and also that you have reactions of people who all of a sudden they start smiling, or they're somewhere and they say something and say, oh yeah. And this is always the best thing when this is happening. And then and if you tell them later that this is just white light, I mean, there are no colors, right? It's just white light. Everything that you see, your brain does for you.
Yes. Isn't that incredible when you see all those beautiful colors? I'm also thinking for the Brain Gym program, because most people think of cross crawl and how you move your body, and there's certain exercises. I'm also thinking for children, how beneficial this would be, in terms of Brain Gym and keeping things active. And of course, we're living in an age of AI and transhumanism. And the age of AI is also, I saw a post today which showed, a person who's utilizing their own creativity and somebody who's mainly on AI, and the decrease in what was going on in the brain was quite marked. So again, having a very easy, simple device which stimulates brain gym and stimulates certain areas of the brain is super important these days, more so than ever.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. I have a couple of therapists who are using the device also with children with ADHD. But from a manufacturer point of view, I mean, NeuroVizr says it's as of 18, the device.
Yes.
And the parents, I mean, the brain is still under development. But if we look at how the brain already at the moment, also for teenagers, how the attention span decreases drastically by having all those dopamine kicks with TikTok and all those things that are happening, I think it's a very beneficial tool, or actually something to try. But again, I would always do this then with children under supervision to see how they react. I would not, so from a manufacturing point, we say this is as of 18, but as it is non-invasive and it's just light and sound, if parents agree or do this and want to try, let their kids try, they love it. So for instance, my daughter, she had the first usage of the NeuroVizr when she was 17. And I had obviously more devices at home, and she did group sessions with their friends at home. And they just want to do this in the evening, and then they were connecting. So similar what I showed you, what I showed you here. So there were 4 or 5 people in her room, and they did then a joint NeuroVizr session. So they can connect on one app the device. They had from me a transmitter with multiple headphones, so that actually everybody has the same sound, and it's very immersive. And then they did those journeys. What was happening, and that was something which I thought this is so cool. After that, all of those kids or teenagers, they spoke with each other. They shared their experiences. They were talking. They were not looking at their phones. And my daughter said, I really like, because afterwards I don't want to have my phone in the hand. I just would like to talk to people. So, and I think this is such a cool benefit, because all of a sudden with that device, you just feel yourself and you're connected with yourself. And the last thing you want to do is taking it off, look at your phone and go through TikTok. So
But you've actually opened the door to something I was also going to ask, because I know, this is more of a solo experience, because, you buy one of these NeuroVizr and then you just use your headphones, and the app is on the smart device, and new things being added all the time, but there's hundreds of programs. You're not going to run out shortly. But you've also created this as a group experience, which particularly appealed to me, to have, everybody puts on these devices and they go through an hour or hour and 15-minute group immersion. And you've been running these almost classes on a regular basis. I know in Switzerland that they're growing, they're becoming popular. You get business people who want to come straight from work. You get people who want to come first thing in the morning before they go to work. Tell us about those group experiences that you've created. Because it's essentially a solo experience, isn't it?
Yes, it's a solo experience, but the fun fact that you can connect multiple devices on one app, it gives you the opportunity for a group experience. The only thing, usually you can do it and just connect the devices, and then if you have a very good speaker in the room, you just use the speaker, so you don't use the headphones, because you can't connect 20 headphones on a device.
No.
That's right. But with so I connected then with these suppliers who do silent disco events, where they have multiple headphones and a transmitter. So I rented, or I bought now, those kind of headphones with a transmitter. So I put a transmitter into my tablet. So the sound goes to the transmitter, and then it goes to 20, 25, 30 headphones, and I can do those kind of group sessions or experiences. Usually I do it in a group of 10, because that gives you the freedom that afterwards you can have a sharing circle. And the beginning, before you start, you define on where your journey should be, what you would like to experience as a group, because then I built that. And I started actually in Switzerland with a joke because I was reading that Tupperware filed insolvency. And Tupperware, they all went to people home, they showed their plastic boxes. And then I
Yeah.
thought, I do now a Tupperware 2.0 party. But I come to you with a NeuroVizr. And instead of having plastic boxes, everybody brings a yoga mat and I put you to the universe. I just sent you to the universe. And then I started to do those sessions, and it's so much fun. Actually, I'm doing it on Wednesday and Thursday at a big event in Switzerland. It's a corporate business event where they have around 100 CMOs of the biggest corporates there. And when I was working for an insurance company, quite often a delegate of that event, and I was also a speaker there. And now I'm so proud that I actually allowed to do the activity for them. And people signed up already, and I will do groups of 10, and I will put them half an hour in a wind down experience in the evening, which actually increases alpha in their brain so that they feel better later for the networking events, so that they can connect and that they are open to discuss with others and build new relationships. So, and I love that. So that those kind of things happen. This is much better than just having a one-to-one experience, because if you see people and when they exchange, then everybody exchange something different. Even they explore the same session, the experience that you have is very individual.
Yes, and I feel that this is very palatable into the corporate world, whereas, in terms of many companies have wellness plans, and then they're always a little skeptical. Are we going to this way, too alternative? However, because of the neuroscience behind it, and that it can be done in a lunch hour, it doesn't need to take a long time, that it's very easy to take a group through, and that I think, whatever your skepticism, when you understand more the sort of how the brain works and how when the brain works as it should, you're opening up to so many possibilities, which, as you said, with your daughter and her friends, new conversations, you want to talk rather than be on devices, you want to connect. And the other health benefits as well, that it's mental, emotional, and physical, that it's something that really corporate organizations who have a wellness program need to be looking at these very simple devices that they can have 5 to 10 that are available in the common area, and people just put them on, have the app, and spend, as I said, it could be as little as 5 minutes. Some of those programs are just 5 minutes, so it doesn't have to be a long time.
It has another beautiful aspect on that, because when I was working in that corporate environment, we also did, let's say, relaxation rooms for our employees, all part of the employee well-being program, right? But these are usually not very frequented, because first of all, you don't want to be seen as somebody who needs to take a rest, depending on the industry you live in, and the culture is not always allowing it. For us, it was, for instance, you had to badge to actually enter the door. So to enter that room, and then nobody does that because they think, okay, yeah, HR can track how often I do a rest, need a rest, right? But with a NeuroVizr, you have the chance to do this totally individual on your desk. You just sit in your chair, you relax for a while, and nobody knows what are you doing. Nobody knows if you do a power nap. Nobody knows if you are doing, let's say, if you're putting yourself in a gamma frequency to be highly focused for the next meeting, or maybe putting yourself in a creative mode for joining a brainstorm. Nobody knows. So this is also why it's actually a very nice personal gadget that you can use to improve your brain health. On the other hand, I just came back from a masterclass that we gave in Prague in Czech Republic. And we were talking with leaders about the effect of brain health. Because if you ask in a company who wants to join a mental well-being program or mental health program, no hands go up because the word is stigmatized. If you
Yes.
say who would like to improve their cognitive brain performance, every hand goes up, right?
Yes, it's
So
how you say it makes a big difference.
it's totally. And then when you also can show them that there are studies that actually show leaders who have a very good brain health performance, their teams have less fluctuation, more team happiness, deliver better results. Because also you as a leader, I mean, you need to give the safety to your team that they can operate. If you are the one who is struggling all the time and under stress, your team feels that as well. And so it's similar like what you do with parenting. You just give your trauma to your kids if you want or not, right? And the same is in leadership. But if you have something that helps you to stay calm. So if you come out of a meeting that really freaked you out and where you're totally upset and you know that for the next 2 hours I'm so pissed of anything, then just do a NeuroVizr session of 11 minutes. There are some things in there which are mood changing. So to get this peace of mind back, because in those 11 minutes where you do that session, you can't stick to that anger that you have. So your brain just is so distracted that, and you know it by yourself, if 11 minutes you are not thinking of any pain that you just suffered, the pain is not as big anymore. So you get very fast out of that triggered situation that helps you then also to lead your team better.
Yes, and to remove stress. And when you remove stress, it helps you heal the body, helps you heal the mind, helps you create more resonance and coherence in all areas of your life. So multi-benefits. So where can people get hold of this NeuroVizr?
So the easiest is here. Oh no, sorry, it's here.
It's down there.
So it's NeuroVizr CH. I ship everywhere in the world, so it's no problem. I even have partners in the Middle East. So for instance, if you have a lot of audience there, where we have people who have devices on stock there. And otherwise, if it's just a one-to-one thing, they can contact me with this via this email address or on that website with the contact button. And I'm happy to either to coach them on how to use the device, how to use the technology. Also, always happy to come over to Dubai and run some sessions, right? But also, or maybe to train some companies or employees on that. Yeah, and always happy to support. Also, sometimes when I work with coaches, I give them some recommendations for playlists. So because based on all the study on everything that is there, I created some tools that help me to write very fast some recommendations for specific clients or problems that clients might have. So yeah, just reach out to me on NeuroVizr CH or no, yeah, NeuroVizr CH, and yeah, or they could also reach out to you, and we are
Yes,
connected.
yeah, I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to trial it. And like you, I'd love to run this as a group session for people. I think it would be really fun to see how people speak afterwards. And also, you know, in some of the work that I do, whether it's corporate or in mentoring, to have this as another powerful tool that can really help people. As I said, one of the people that experienced it just the other day had gone through another experience with me, and he finished ahead of the rest of the other four in the group. And so he was downstairs resting, and I said, "Oh, do you want to?" And he really loved it, really loved it. I put him on just an 11-minute protocol that you don't want to introduce people to anything too long that they may not experience before. And it makes a difference in a very short space of time. But what was also nice for me, Mike, was that it was so easy for me to set it up for him, just like that. And the same with my friend in the afternoon who went in and had his little transcendent experience. You know, it made a difference.
It's always, there's just one thing, and I think it's important that we also mention that in that call. There's one counterindication, so people with epilepsy are not allowed to do that.
Yes.
So that's always that checking. And also, I run more than 1,500 sessions in the last year. And I can say that 95% say, wow, what is happening here? So they are totally amazed. You have a couple of people who struggle sometimes. These are mainly people who stay in the head. And I already see based on the question. So some they are just forced by their friends. Oh, you need to try that. You need to try that. But then they say, what is that? It scares me a bit because of that light. So if you hold on, if you don't let go, because it's just light and sound, and if you don't imagine, okay, let's imagine I lay on the beach and there's just sun about me above me, I can't switch it off. Um, and if you try to control the light, then it will stress you. But if you let go, and if you just
Yes.
say, okay, it's just there, and then you go deeper and deeper, and you are in control. You can always take it off if you don't like it, right? Because it's non-invasive. So it's not like when you take a pill or anything, you need to go through. But here it's you
Just
are
like wearing a pair of headphones. And
yes,
for me, it's like, you take your body to the gym for a physical workout. This is giving your brain a workout
exactly.
and allowing it to come to life. What a gift that is.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for making the time to tell us more about the NeuroVizr and also facilitating the opportunity for me to give it a go over the weekend, over the last couple of days. I look forward to spending more time exploring some of the programs that are available with it. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Thanks.
Thank you for tuning into this episode with my guest, Mike Fuhrmann. And I encourage you to check out the NeuroVizr. And if you do feel called to experience this wonderful technology, then I'm going to be posting a link which will give you a 10% discount as well. As always, I'm thrilled to be sharing possibilities with you. And if you want more, then check out the link at thepossibilityhub.com. And if you do feel that others can benefit from listening in, then please share, review, like, or follow me on Instagram, Carol K. Talbot, or check out my YouTube channel. Remember, you're always more than you think you are.